Hi, I'm Sarah Vickers-Webb with Santa Cruz Tech Beat, and I'm here with Nada Miljkovic of GetVirtual. Um,
Hi, Sarah. So nice to talk to you today.
yeah, thank you for being here. So, could you tell us a bit about GetVirtual?
GetVirtual is a brand new spanking organization here in Santa Cruz that partners UCSC students with local businesses to help them get online as quickly as possible. So what we found, it's a direct reaction to COVID-19 and shelter in place practices that has eliminated the ability for merchants both to have their stores open and to have foot traffic as a way of, making their revenue. And so these businesses have to create new revenue streams that are completely virtual. And it's the businesses that are able to pivot really quickly in this new environment, this new, virtual environment, that are going to be able to survive and thrive in COVID-19. And so we want to help as many businesses as possible be able to continue into the new unknown, the new normal, unknown normal, I guess you say.
Wow, that's amazing. And how did that come about? How did you guys get the idea?
So Toby Corey is a local entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and he reached out to me. This was right after the shelter in place, and he told me that he'd had several conversations with Bonnie Lipscomb and Robert Singleton. These are economic leaders that we have here in the city and county, and he told me about this idea that he talked with them about, which is, connecting students, but he didn't have a real hold on how to do that through UCSC. And so we were already friends, and he asked me if I would help. And so I then turned to my provost, who's also my champion in Crown College, and asked him if he thought we could do something. The beautiful point, the really interesting kind of kismet of these things coming together is at the same time UCSC is asking their provosts and their deans of students, saying, how can what are we going to do as a university to help COVID-19 economic fallout or whatever else we can do. And
Yeah.
so when I approached Manel, I was solving a real need that he had as well. So we, within just a couple days, created an independent studies class. I reached out to my very favorite students of the past year. So I teach two different entrepreneurship classes. One's called Crown 90, which is regular innovative startup class. And the other one is Crown 92, which is for social and creative entrepreneurs.
Oh,
So I try to be able to make sure that I can get all of the kind of various entrepreneur types. And so from Crown 90 and Crown 92, I reached out to my favorite students, the students that really got the entrepreneurial mindset, that really understood how to do customer discovery, how to talk to people and get data from those interviews, as well as be able to analyze that data and come to some conclusions. And fortunately, all of my students said yes. I even had one student drop a class on advice of his father so that he could have room to take my class. And so my students are getting 5 credits for the work that they're doing. They're doing extraordinary work. They're amazing. I very quickly realized that I just needed to get out of their way and let them do it. I'm there to coach them, as well as Toby. We're there to help them with any type of client communication issues, scope of work. What exactly are they promising that they're doing, and will they be able to deliver on what they're promising? And so Toby and I are in some ways the boss, or I like to call myself the quality control, quality assurance person. And so we're basically like threw together this class really fast,
mhm.
recruited the students, and then started talking. We collaboratively, all of us as a team, started putting our processes together, our the website, the social media, the press release, and my students are doing all of it.
Wow, that's a really exciting opportunity. And you
Yeah,
seem really excited about it. So
yeah,
that's amazing.
they love it, and they're executing. They're creating websites for people. They're teaching them how to use their websites.
Oh,
When I asked my students why they took the class, they told me that they found that it was their civic duty to help people in this time, and that given the opportunity to be able to make real real solutions for small businesses, which are really the backbone of the U.S. economic, our engine. They jumped at it.
it's amazing. Wow, I love that it was their civic duty. That's amazing.
It's their responsibility to help, and that's that spirit, and that entrepreneurial mindset that, yes, this is a really horrible situation, but there is opportunity in these changing times. And it's the people that take that as an opportunity that are going to be able to move forward and be successful. And it's those that are maybe, kept behind because they see only a problem. And that's the beauty of entrepreneurs. That's why I feel like entrepreneurs can save the world, because they see the problems and figure out creatively what the solutions are.
That's great. So, and you teach the classroom component of the course over Zoom, correct?
It's all digital,
Right.
and my classes have been very hybrid over the years. The class that I started teaching at UCSC, again with Manel Camps, my champion provost, was in 2016, and it was the Summer Entrepreneurship Academy, and same number, Crown 90. And from then it was, I'd say 90% already on Zoom. So we would meet at the very first day for the students to pitch their ideas and make the teams. And then we would meet the last day for them to do their presentations. But since then, we've realized that we can actually do the whole thing online. And I've been really lucky that I studied digital media up at UCSC. I have an MFA in it. And so it's something that comes really easy to me and I'm very passionate about, because I feel like digital media is also a green way of doing business. And now with COVID-19, it's like I've been waiting for this in a way, not COVID-19, but I've been waiting for it to go more digital. It's like we have the technology, we have the streaming capability, and so I was already there waiting.
Great. What challenges have you come across any challenges in terms of doing this entire program remotely? Like, I'm sure some of the businesses you're helping might not be the most tech. Some people may be more, sorry about that, maybe more or less tech savvy. I have no idea, but have you had any challenges?
Well, yeah, of course. We've had many challenges. But because we're a team of entrepreneurs or entrepreneurial thinking people, it's all been like, yeah, okay, so what's the solution? So we have, been very careful. So just to take you through the process, what we did was we got together because they'd already taken my classes. The first thing I do with all my students is help them learn about themselves. So I give them strength assessments. I give them personality tests. I have them do vision boards and write letters from their future selves to themselves today. I highly recommend that for everybody. I had a letter I wrote to myself from my 80-year-old self. What would she tell me today, right? That's the idea. And so they came to the class because they'd already been participants. They knew what their strengths are. They're community builders, or they're executors, or they're strategic thinkers, or what their values are. What are their passions? What are their strengths? What are their skills? So we brought together, and the students presented to the team who they were, both in these specific ways, and as well as through some forms that I created where they could say, I really want to work on these things. This is what I'm strong in, and this is what I love to do. And would you believe it? every one of the tasks that I kind of thought up that we would need through this getting the clients, client intake, executing, closing out the project, every one of those tasks was filled by somebody. So it's like that magic of the hive mind. There was somebody who wanted to fill that task, and they have ownership of it. They take it and they're responsible for it. And we have a daily intake meeting where we go through any new clients that have come up. We have somebody assigned the initial reaching out to them. We also go through any other, like, you know, we're working on a press release, we're working on a presentation to the city council, you know, managing, you know, the steps into getting the milestones to get that complete on the right time. And so everyone, you know, just tells us they're either progressing well, or they need, they're at capacity and that they need help. Or so it's a daily check-in, so that no one feels overwhelmed. No one feels like, you know, we're just making sure everyone feels comfortable.
Great. That's great that you have a daily check-in. It's amazing.
It's like progress reports, except, you know, usually project meetings are usually weekly, like in construction. That's how we would do it. Right. But because we have, you know, a month left of school, we're just doing it every day. And the kids are making websites in a couple days. So it's like, they really do need to give us the progress. It's happening.
Yeah, that's really fast.
Yeah.
So my last question, I feel like you've already answered it. So I'm going to be a bit more specific. So I was going to ask, tell me something about GetVirtual that makes you proud. It seems like that's what you've been talking about the whole time, is how proud you are of the students and all their efforts. Could you tell me maybe like a specific instance of something that made you feel really great about it?
You know, it's like a daily occurrence. They're such rock stars. I'm so blown away by the empathy that they have for their clients. They really feel how, or they can share that feeling of this being their baby. These business owners are watching their life's work sometimes, you know, become vulnerable. And so when I hear about them talking about, you know, how they were, you know, what the meeting was like with their clients, and they talk about the deep feelings that their clients have and how they want to maintain that. And they actually talk about that in expressing it through their websites. Like, they're really digitally, I mean, they're born into it, right? They were born into the digital world. Some of my students were making websites when they were 8 years old just for fun, right? And the empathy that they have for each other, and the constant, like, oh, I think somebody's at capacity and let's check in with them. Like, they are giving each other workshops. They're really coming together. I had one of my students tell me that she feels like this is her family.
Well, that must be so valuable right now during this time when a lot of people don't really get to be around a lot of people. It must be an amazing way for them to connect.
Right. And then it's all been digital. You know, I hear a lot of my friends say, yeah, it's, you know, digital's okay, but it's not like, and sure, it's not the same as being physical and being with somebody. But I feel like there's a lot more that people can be doing digitally that we're just starting to creatively, you know, work out. And so, like I said, I've been teaching online since 2016. I find it to be incredibly gratifying. I find it to be really connective, and that we're able to create these very high functioning, dynamic teams. And I think a big part of it is because most of it is in real time. I do have some lectures, I do have some videos and that kind of thing, but in general, I can see all of their eyes. I can see what they're eating. You know, we know what we're all doing, right? And almost, it's sometimes better than in the classroom, because I can hover and see what their name is. So like when you're in the class at first, you know, and I've got learn like 30, 40 kids' names.
Hmm.
I'm 54 years old, you know, it's getting a little harder for me.
Yeah, I
I
get it.
have
I'm a
to do a
former.
lot of exercises to, you know, throwing balls and stuff like that. But for me, Zoom has been great that way.
Makes sense. All right. Well, thank you so much for
Oh, my
talking to
pleasure.
me and for your hopeful message. You almost brought a tear to my eye towards the end, or maybe you kind of did. Yeah, thank you so much and for all the work you're doing with the community. And where can people find you if they want to get some help?
GetVirtual.org. 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 And just so you know, this is a prototype and
Mhm.
that we want to bring this to the world. And we will have all of our processes, all of our documentation in a starter kit on the getvirtual.org so that people could be doing this. I know Cabrillo College may be getting involved. I know CSUMB is getting involved. They have a Get Virtual class in the summer. Stanford is getting involved. We want to reach out to San Jose. And we just want to bring this model to as many, you know, cities, counties, you know, universities as possible.
Great. Well, thank you so much. And we'll see you around.
Pleasure. Thank
Excited
you.
to hear how everything goes.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Bye.